Be prepared. What's coming isn't just another new moon. It's the breakdown that has to happen before it. The days before the new moon aren't peaceful, they're part of the test. Most people don't realize that the days before the moon disappears are when the universe checks if you're truly ready for the new moon. And the first ritual you need to perform, it's something you need to get rid of. Hope can be dangerous if it's used to avoid the truth. Everyone's talking about what they hope the new moon will bring. New beginnings, new intentions, new energy. But hope can be a trap when it blinds you from what actually needs to end first. Right now, it's not about hoping things will change. It's about facing what must change, even if it hurts. This is the cleanup before the reset. The universe doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to clarity. And clarity only comes when you stop lying to yourself about what's not working. If something sparks inside you this weekend, an idea, a realization, a quiet inner pull, keep it to yourself. Don't text it to anyone. Don't talk about it. Don't even whisper it out loud. Let it breathe in silence. The moon amplifies private energy but dilutes spoken energy. And when you talk too soon, you drain the charge that was meant to manifest it. You see, when something powerful is being born inside you, it's fragile, not weak, just sacred. The moment you tell someone about it, you invite their energy into it. Their opinions, their doubts, even their excitement. It all mixes with yours. And suddenly, that pure spark becomes cloudy. What was once yours becomes shared property. That's why so many manifestations fade before they ever take form. They were exposed too early before they had roots. This window isn't just about writing down affirmations. It's about protection, spiritual privacy. The new moon energy is like fertile soil, and your intentions are the seeds. You wouldn't dig up a seed the moment you planted it just to show someone, would you? You let it stay underground, unseen, because that's where it gathers strength. Right now, everything in your life that's shifting is happening beneath the surface. You don't need to explain it to anyone. You don't need validation or permission. This phase rewards those who can hold mystery without rushing to define it. And the irony? The less you talk about it, the stronger it gets. Silence feeds it. Attention drains it. Every time you resist the urge to tell someone, you're actually building energetic tension. And that tension is what propels it into existence. So if something calls to you in these shadow days before the moon returns, an idea that won't leave your head, a sudden urge to change direction, a vision that feels too big to make sense, don't announce it. Let it haunt you for a while. Let it live in that space between knowing and becoming. Because once you let the world in on it, it stops being a whisper from the universe and becomes just another topic of conversation. But before that moment comes, before the idea is ready to face the world, there's something even more important you need to do, and it's the one thing almost no one can handle. You've said sorry to people who never deserved your apology. You've forgiven others for things they never even admitted to doing. But how often have you apologized to yourself sincerely, honestly, without excuses? This is the moment to do it. The new moon isn't asking for wish lists or affirmations. It's asking for honesty. It's asking you to finally face the parts of you that you've abandoned. Apologize to yourself for the way you've spoken about your own life. For every time you called yourself lazy when you were simply tired, unmotivated when you were uninspired, or unworthy when you were just misunderstood. Say sorry for comparing your path to someone else's highlight reel, for believing that your timing was off, when the truth is, you were never late. You were just evolving. You owe yourself an apology for every time you let someone else's opinion rewrite your truth, for letting fear dictate your choices, for pretending you didn't care when you cared deeply, for dimming your light just to make someone else comfortable in their shadow, for calling it strength when you were actually suppressing pain. An apology to yourself is a declaration of rebirth. This is not self-pity, it's self-respect. Because when you acknowledge the ways you've betrayed your own peace, you stop doing it again. You reclaim your loyalty. You stop waiting for closure from people who will never give it and realize you've been the one holding the power all along. So tonight, make it personal. Whisper it. Write it. Feel it in your chest if you have to. Say, "I'm sorry for every time I didn't choose you. I'm sorry for the days I believed I was too broken to heal. I'm sorry for mistaking survival for living." Let the silence after those words settle. That's where healing begins. The truth is, you've done your best with what you had, even on the days it didn't look like it. The new moon sees that. It doesn't want a perfect version of you, it wants the real one. The one that's ready to forgive, rebuild, and rise. Because once you finally apologize to yourself, you stop fighting your reflection. You stop chasing who you think you should be and start honoring who you are. And when that happens, the moon doesn't just mark a new cycle, it marks your return to yourself. Lie on the floor, not on your bed, not on a chair, not even on a yoga mat. The actual floor, cold, grounding, real. Let it remind you that no matter how high you reach spiritually, you're still here, anchored to something ancient. The ground humbles you in a way nothing else can. It takes the noise in your head and pulls it downward, back into reality. This is one of the simplest yet most overlooked rituals before a new moon. The act of returning to the physical. So many people spend these days floating in intentions and affirmations, trying to reach higher realms, forgetting that even light needs something solid to reflect off of. You can't manifest from the clouds, you manifest from the ground up. So lie there. Let the weight of your body meet the weight of the earth. Feel how it supports you without asking for anything in return. Every thought, every anxiety, every emotion that's been swirling above you begins to settle. This is what grounding truly means, not visualizing roots, but remembering that you already have them. If you want to journal, do it from this place. Not at a desk, not in your usual comfort zone, but from the floor. Right with your back against the earth. You'll notice that your words feel heavier, more honest. There's no pretense when you're eye level with the foundation. Humility isn't about thinking less of yourself, it's about remembering what holds you up. The ground doesn't care about your plans, your doubts, or your status. It accepts everything, and that's why it heals. It teaches you to build from truth, not illusion. When you reconnect with the ground, ego dissolves, and the body remembers its purpose, to carry light through matter. Spend a few minutes here, breathing slowly, letting your pulse match the steady rhythm beneath you. Think of every great structure ever built, temples, cathedrals, cities. All of them started the same way, by touching the ground first. So before this new moon rises, remind yourself everything you're building has to stand on something real. You are that foundation. There's an unwritten law that few people talk about. The 8 hours before the new moon are not just powerful, they're volatile. This is the moment when the moon hides her light completely, when the night turns heavy and energy bends in unpredictable ways. It's not superstition, it's alignment. The lunar cycle isn't resetting yet, it's waiting to see what you do in the dark. Most people think the new moon begins the moment the sky goes black, But the real power happens right before that. Those 8 hours are when the universe listens more closely than ever, not to what you say out loud, but to what you allow yourself to think. It's a silent broadcast, and every thought you send out echoes across the next 28 days. This is why the ancients feared and revered the dark moon equally. They knew that this window was like a mirror, one that amplifies whatever energy you feed into it. Fear echoes louder, doubt multiplies faster, but stillness turns into precision, clarity, direction. So think of these 8 hours as a spiritual quarantine. Protect your energy as if your next month depends on it, because it does. Don't gossip, don't spiral, don't entertain negativity, not even in your own head. The moon's field is hyper-reactive now, and anything you attach emotion to, love or hate, will follow you forward. You don't need to be perfect, just intentional. If a thought drags you backward, pause and replace it with something neutral. Silence isn't empty right now, it's magnetic. The less you feed it, the more power it returns. Every thought spoken in darkness writes the script of the light that follows. So instead of trying to control what happens next, control what you transmit. The 8-hour shadow night isn't about doing anything at all, it's about realizing how much you've already been doing without awareness. It's the part of the cycle that tests your discipline, not your dreams. And that's what separates those who drift through every lunar cycle from those who command them, awareness. The ones who understand this window don't manifest harder, they manifest cleaner. If you can stay centered when everything in you wants to react, you've already passed the test. Because the universe rewards those who remain still in the storm, those who protect their energy when no one else is watching. And once you make it through that shadow night without losing your balance, the moon sees you differently. It recognizes your restraint. And in that silence, a new pattern starts to form, one that belongs only to you. For once, don't try to meditate, manifest, or fix anything. Just sit. 20 minutes, no phone, no music, no crystals, no rituals, just you, your breath, and whatever rises in the silence. It's harder than it sounds because silence is confronting. The moment you stop filling space, your mind starts speaking. Every thought you've ignored all week begins to crawl out of hiding. The things you didn't say, the things you avoided feeling, the noise you drowned out with distraction. But that's exactly why this ritual works. The silence reveals what's really in your energy field before the new moon arrives. Most people run from this part. They'll light candles, play healing frequencies, put on calming sounds, anything to escape the stillness. But here's the truth. When you fill silence with sound, you block the message trying to reach you. The universe doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you can't stand quiet, you'll never hear it. This isn't meditation, it's detox. You're not trying to feel peaceful, you're letting the chaos rise so it can burn itself out. Every restless twitch, every intrusive thought, every ounce of boredom, that's energy leaving the system. The more uncomfortable it gets, the more you're clearing. You're peeling away the energetic residue of other people, other days, other versions of you. You can't set new intentions if you're full of other people's noise. After about 10 minutes, something strange happens. The mind stops fighting. The silence stops feeling like a void and starts to feel like a pulse. You'll notice how alive the air feels, how heavy your body gets, how your thoughts start to slow until they're just fragments. That's the reset. That's your energy returning to neutral, ready for new instructions. Think of this 20 minutes as hitting the reset button on your spirit. The moon doesn't want a cluttered frequency, it wants a clear signal. And that clarity doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing nothing. So when you sit in that stillness tonight, don't expect enlightenment. Expect truth. Expect the noise to get louder before it disappears. Expect to feel weird, restless, maybe even emotional. That's how you know you're getting close. Because right before a new lunar cycle begins, the quiet becomes magnetic, like the universe is holding its breath. And if you can hold yours with it, even for a moment, you'll feel something rare, the calm before the creation. There's a strange kind of power in not finishing your thoughts. Most people think manifestation is about declaring exactly what you want, crystal clear, detailed, specific. But what if that very control is what keeps you small? What if the universe has bigger plans than the ones you can name? Tonight, try something different. Try the ritual of unfinished sentences. Sit with a pen or just your thoughts and start the sentence. I will become, and stop. Don't finish it. Don't rush to fill the blank with what your mind expects. Let that space stay open, because in that space, something greater moves. Every time you finish a sentence, you close a door. You trap your energy in what you already know. But when you leave it unfinished, you're inviting the unknown to participate, and that's where the real magic happens. The universe doesn't need your full plan. It just needs your willingness to be written into something bigger. Control is the enemy of creation. The unknown is where your destiny hides. Think of all the things that changed your life. How many of them were planned? How many of them arrived unannounced, slipping through cracks you didn't even know existed? This ritual recreates that opening. It reminds the universe that you're not trying to dominate the flow, you're co-creating with it. Think of a few of these incomplete sentences and then stop. Don't force an ending. Let the silence after each one become the rest of the sentence. Let the unseen fill it for you. That's how you show faith, not by shouting your desires into the void, but by making room for what's trying to find you. The mind hates this. It craves completion, certainty, control. But that's the whole point. The moment you stop trying to finish every sentence, you start living in alignment with the mystery that actually guides your life. So tonight, don't manifest by deciding, manifest by allowing. Right before you go to sleep tonight, there's one last thing you should do. Nothing complicated, no crystals, no affirmations, no scripts. Just this. Place your hand over your heart. Don't say a word. Don't even try to think the right thoughts. Just breathe. Feel the steady rhythm under your palm, that quiet, loyal pulse that's been keeping you alive through every phase, every mistake, every cycle you've survived. Most people underestimate silence. They think power lives in action, in doing, in effort. But tonight isn't about effort, it's about recognition. When you sit in that silence, hand over heart, you're aligning with something far older than words. The moon's rhythm is still there, even if you can't see her. She's between phases, invisible, but not gone. You're the same. Your power doesn't disappear when you can't feel it. It just moves beneath the surface. Imagine your pulse syncing with the unseen rhythm of the moon, two silent metronomes beating in the dark, waiting for the next cycle to begin. Feel how your body hums with quiet electricity, even when your mind has run out of things to say. That pulse is proof you are still connected. You don't have to charge your energy, you only have to notice it's still alive. You don't need to send intentions tonight. You don't have to picture outcomes or visualize dreams. The moon isn't asking for that. All she wants is your awareness, your ability to be present in your own aliveness, even in the dark, because that awareness is the oldest ritual humanity has ever known. Before there were altars, candles, or chants, there was the heart, beating steady, listening. Stay like that for 30 seconds. Let your breath slow. Let your awareness settle into your chest. You'll start to feel something subtle, a warmth spreading, a quiet pull downward, like gravity reminding you you're here, alive, real. That's not your imagination. That's life acknowledging itself. This small gesture, this act of simply feeling your own heartbeat, is a conversation with existence. It says, I'm still here, still open, still part of this rhythm. And that's enough. That's more than enough. When you remove every ritual, every belief, every word, what's left is this moment. You and your pulse, you and the unseen moon breathing in sync. That's the reset. That's the closing of the old cycle. So tonight, when the world goes quiet and the moon hides her face, remember this. Your heartbeat is the oldest spell on Earth. And as long as it continues, the story isn't over yet. Right now, you're being pulled back by something that knows you're leaving for good. It happens every time real change is close. Right before the new moon. Right before you turn the page. The moment you're about to shed an old layer, it tries to convince you that it still fits. You'll feel it as tension, as doubt, as random urges that make no sense. It's the energetic tug of war between who you've been and who you're becoming. The 2 days before a new moon always bring this test, the pullback. It's subtle but powerful, and if you're not aware of it, you'll mistake it for a sign that you should stay the same. You'll feel the urge to text someone you already said goodbye to. You'll crave food you swore you were done with. You'll scroll through old photos, rewatch shows you've outgrown, revisit thoughts you promised to let die. That's not nostalgia, that's resistance disguised as comfort. What's happening is simple but invisible. The old frequency senses it's losing you. Every version of yourself that fed off fear, self-doubt, and limitation starts reaching out like a desperate echo. It doesn't want to vanish quietly, so it tempts you with the familiar. It makes you question if you're really ready to let go. But that's how you know you're close. The closer you get to freedom, the louder your chains will rattle. This tug of war is spiritual physics. Energy doesn't like to lose form. When you decide to evolve, the old energy resists because it knows it can't survive where you're going. So it clings to your emotions, to your memories, to your routines. It tells you that nothing's really changing, that this is just another moon, just another cycle. But this is not another cycle. This is the one where you stop repeating the past. You might feel exhausted, moody, even restless. It's normal. That's the tension between expansion and attachment. The key is not to fight it, just notice it. See the hooks as they appear and refuse to bite. When the craving hits, breathe. When the memory plays, observe it without feeding it. The moment you refuse to react, you dissolve its power. Understand this. The final pullback is proof of your progress. The darkness before the new moon isn't punishment. It's a loyalty test from the universe asking, are you truly done? And if you can hold steady through this tug of war, if you can let the old energy thrash one last time without reaching for it, the next time you open your eyes, the moon will be new, and so will you. When you wake up tomorrow, the day before the new moon, or on the morning of the new moon itself, don't reach for your phone. Don't check the time. Don't rush into the day like it's any other. Just get up, walk to a window and open it. Let the outside air touch your face before the world has a chance to speak to you. Breathe it in slowly. Feel it fill your lungs, clear your chest, and wash through your mind like a silent reminder that something has shifted. Say quietly, "This is new air for a new cycle," not as a chant, not as a spell, just as acknowledgement. The moon doesn't need ceremonies. She doesn't demand devotion or worship. What she truly asks for is awareness, a witness who's awake enough to notice the reset. Every lunar cycle begins not with magic, but with noticing. Noticing the silence that feels slightly different. Noticing that the light hits the wall in a new way. Noticing that your breath feels heavier, slower, more deliberate. That's how rebirth begins, not with thunder, but with observation. The morning after the dark moon is sacred because it's quiet. It's the one breath between endings and beginnings. And when you open that window, you're symbolically telling the universe that you're ready to let the old air leave. You're not forcing new energy in, you're letting it arrive naturally. That's what alignment really is. This is new air for a new cycle, the simplest spell you'll ever cast. Take another deep breath, and while you do, imagine that you're exhaling everything that can't follow you forward. The heaviness of the last month, the fears that kept looping, the noise you didn't even realize you'd absorbed. With every exhale, the air becomes lighter, and so do you. There's something powerful about this moment because it reminds you that rebirth doesn't need a ritual of effort. It needs presence. The moon renews herself without force. She doesn't try to glow brighter or manifest faster. She simply disappears and returns again and again. That's her entire teaching. You don't have to fight for renewal, you just have to allow it. So let that morning air be your teacher. Don't analyze it, don't spiritualize it, just breathe it. You'll feel how alive it is, how it carries tiny whispers of everything that's shifting, the movement of tides, the hum of distant stars, the quiet rhythm of beginnings that have already started forming while you slept. And as you stand there, let this truth settle deep in your chest. You don't need to create the new cycle. It's already happening. You just have to be conscious enough to meet it. That breath, that one conscious inhale, is the doorway. Everything beyond it is the new chapter you've been preparing for all along. If you're still watching, I'd like to thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is very appreciated. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care and subscribe for more insightful content.